Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. We're looking at all the latest on Meri and Robyn's relationship today, which will be covered in part 3 of the latest Sister Wives tell-all. And oh boy, I've been wondering something is strange. The videos that I've been putting up about part 2 are not doing nearly as well as they usually do. That's got me wondering, are you people just tired of Sister Wives? I'm absolutely thrilled. These topics are typically what are liked and generate so much discussion, but of late it's been as if the audience is as exhausted as I am. A part of me still absolutely believes that pointing out the intense emotional and social damage created by such systems is polygamy, especially the devastation that is about women and children, is a worthy objective to aim for. But on the other hand, I'm so tired of watching people like Cody and Robyn Brown continue to escape any form of real accountability for their roles. It feels like there's a total lack of awareness or even care from TLC about the pain this system has inflicted on these women. I did hear about a recent interview, I didn't see it, that Sukanya Suki Krishnan conducted with Sarah Fraser. And let me be clear here, I don't have any issues with Sarah. I actually adore her. We have really different styles and represent really different markets, but she's great, and we've always got along. Granted, I was hearing Suki come on to Sarah's podcast, defending Robyn and Cody, spewing things like Cody's a good dad, that he's trying to repair relationships, and Robyn's a sweetheart, and that really made me stop. Suki's not there to call anyone out. She's there to make it right for TLC, to protect her contract and her paycheck. Of course, she isn't going to badmouth Cody on an interview. If the show does happen to be picked up for another season, why in the world is she going to jeopardize her job? And while, sure, she did call out Cody in some aspect of the tell-all, I still just don't understand how she can sit down with these women face to face, with a straight face, and ask them to get along with people that have emotionally abused them. It really does seem like TLC is in on it, enabling the abuse by continuing to make Cody and Robyn out to be salvageable, not understood by the rest of us, or simply trying their best. I've been seeing more articles and posts from people demanding that Sister Wives get canceled lately, and I get it. The not being held accountable for Cody and Robyn is infuriating. This show could be so wonderful. It could be a real opportunity to expose the damage of polygamy and start conversations that matter. But instead, we're getting a sugar-coated version of events, and it's frustrating. What we're watching is just a tiny symptom of a much deeper, structural issue. The constant feuds, the broken family dynamics, the pain these people are living through. That's the reality of polygamy. And it's happening every single day in real individuals outside of the show. Just imagine how powerful it would be to witness a show that openly speaks to the harms of polygamy and demonstrates how women have moved beyond it, grown, healed, and begun again. But would that undermine TLC's decades-long narrative? The idea they've been promoting for decades now, that this arrangement is safe and that the family fell apart because of personal choices, not because of the very arrangement itself? I don't know. What I do know is that the dynamic between Meri and Robyn has become the focal point. One of my remarks, Ellen, who happens to be from the AUB, mentioned that in that particular group of individuals, women are under tremendous pressure to absorb the emotions of the men surrounding them. They're expected to bear responsibility for their husband's feelings, but the men themselves do not have any emotional accountability. That burden becomes a heavy weight for women, and it makes it incredibly difficult for them to stand up for themselves or even express their own pain. That's why Meri's moment with Cody was so powerful. When he told her he was still grieving the loss of their marriage, and she finally said, "You're not going to put that on me. That's yours. That is not mine." And he said, "Yes, I do." And why he can is due to that cult programming telling him, "Of course I can, Meri. It's your fault that I'm grieving. Make it make sense." But with that in mind, Robyn and Meri also have vastly differing outlooks on the breakdown of their friendship. And I'm gonna say something here. This is 3 episodes into the tell-all, and they are still discussing episodes like the very first few episodes of the season. There were 20 episodes or 20-some episodes this season and or 25 episodes this season, and they are not even discussing more than the first several episodes in this tell-all. There's nothing about Janelle moving. There's nothing about Christine or her wedding. There's nothing. They didn't talk about Meri moving on and the fights with Robyn and Cody saying that Jen is, in fact, Meri went out of her way to mention that when she was at the tell-all, she hadn't yet had a chance to watch the full episodes that had been shown on TLC, and she wasn't allowed to have Cody call Jenna and Cody discussed the friend groups of Meri's and how they're just like a bad thing for her, and no man would be with her if she had friends who were negative. Right, this tell-all has been weird. There were 25 episodes. They've spoken of a part of season episode 8, and that's where Jatel and Cody have their sit-down. They talk some about Meri's moving away and leaving and, Cody and her spiritual release. They've said nothing about Christine's wedding. They're going to say a few things about Coyote Pass, but odd what they're saying in this tell-all and what they're focusing on when there was a lot that went on in this season that just had nothing to do with Cody and the wives. And I think that's what they're eliminating so much of is because how would you ever possibly have a tell-all where you sat down and interviewed them all as to what their storylines are at present? Because it wouldn't be a dramatic tell-all, correct? I mean, if you were going to talk to Cody about, being supportive of his daughter during her baptism and, being such a great dad and game nights, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. So they're trying to, create a tell-all and force 4 episodes, stringing the stories of the 4 of them together, but they're not thinking about all the episodes where they're doing things separately. Does that make sense? And then when you do that, it just feels really disconnected. It's as if Sister Wives is clinging to the reality that they're still a family when they aren't. But on to this where Meri goes on about how she feels towards Robyn and why she's had enough. She's certainly had enough. Do you remember how Meri was speaking so early on about how dissatisfied she was with her position in the family and how she didn't feel like a member of any of the other women after their child graduated? She was an empty nester. She had fewer kids than them. She didn't feel integrated into the family. They started living in separate houses, and she just started feeling like she was in a different place altogether as all the others who were still giving birth, which that happens when people go through empty nests. It happens. They start like, all our friends are bringing up kids, and now I'm not. And then we have our own friends who do other things and are in the same spot as their existence is our own. And so you struggle to relate to people that don't do what you do, you know? And Robyn would always guilt her. Always guilt her. She would tell her that she didn't want to be a member of her family, that remember Meri wanted to go back to school and get her degree and finish her degree. And Robyn explained to her that, they have had women who have attended this church who have done more than their family and have been exposed to people who, will bring them out of this group. And so, she shouldn't go to school and made her feel guilty for wanting to better herself and get some education. Remember that? And so then Meri, I don't even know if Meri went to school. I really don't. We never heard. I don't know if she ever achieved her goal of getting her degree, and Robyn has exploited Meri's superficial guilt that she's had all her life and still harbors, and her perception of obligation that she needs to be more obedient to the family than she needs to be to the rest of the world, and more obedient to the principal than she needs to be to the rest of us, and she needs to be more sensitive to how she's impacting all the rest of us than she is to herself. She could not have her own emotions. But look at Robyn. When she was leaving Meri, very apparent that she came to manipulate Meri. And so Meri is speaking out for the first time that she's not going to be manipulated by Robyn. And Suki has said that Meri's reaction was cold. How can Suki watch this show and see what Robyn has done to Meri and not criticize Robyn for how she has treated Meri all these years? How can she do these interviews straight-faced? How much is TLC paying her? Meri says, "It feels very icy right here. It's just because, like, I don't feel icy. I just don't feel that it's there, you know? Which is really just it. It's a shame, you know? But it's just not there. I don't like that when someone who is drawing a line is called icy or cold. Because standing up for yourself and drawing a line is not being cold. It isn't being icy. And the way that she asks that question and makes that comment to Meri is just so condescending, and it's literally exactly how women are addressed within this cult because they're taught about remaining sweet and cheerful and considering everybody else and not feeling anything. And so when a woman actually does say no, then they're blamed for being cold and icy and defiant and difficult and cruel and mean. So basically, Suki is perpetuating the abuse of Cody and Robyn and blaming Meri for it. And how is that just to Meri? It's not just to Meri to suggest that, because she did say no, that it was cold and mean. Why wasn't Robyn ever called on for how she treated Meri by anyone on this tell-all? Why hasn't she ever been brought to the carpet and told? Meri's interview with Tamron Hall was my first inside look at what life is like as a tell-all host, and Tamron suggesting she felt quite early on that Robyn was in control. Robyn was telling people what they can and cannot say. Robyn was reminding people what they can and cannot say, and that Cody was always staring at Robyn, and Meri was always staring at Robyn and Cody for guidance on what to do. And Meri did not protest it. And Tamron said she got to set, and she sensed something between Meri and Robyn, not between Meri and Janelle and Christine, to which Meri concurred would be correct. I think we are going to learn more about Meri at some point, and she is going to tell us that they were not friends, they were not buddies. Perhaps one day she will be ready to talk about the manner in which Robyn treated her for so long and what was occurring in the manipulation of how the divorce played out currently. She's not ready to go there, or at least here, and Meri clarified that she walked into this tell-all feeling generous to Cody because he was kissing up to her and was nice to her. And recall, 2 weeks before this tell-all on the radio, he called up and said he missed her. I think some of what he was doing was one to win her over with Coyote Pass, but also to love bomb her before the tell-all so that she wouldn't have anything negative to say about him, and so she would say something good about him. It's manipulative if you think about it. He's doing it to manipulate her. And so Meri confessed that had she known what Cody was telling people behind her back throughout this period, she would not have been as kind and generous as she was. But he was playing with her in order to get her on his side, to get her not to talk bad about him on the tell-all. She felt manipulated. The best Meri can do with Cody is set a boundary and have no contact with him. The best she can do is not listen to Suki or anyone else who is going to support Cody and Robyn's abuse. And the best news for all of us is to hear them when they say that they have done the following: played games with their minds, manipulated, humiliated, belittled, insulted, hurt people intentionally, where it hurt the most, strung them along, used them for their money. That's what you need to cling to. If 3 women all say the same thing, it's not their fault. It's a Cody and Robyn problem. If there's 3 women who all share the same experience of being pretty much defrauded and abused by these 2, why are we giving their abusers the right to defend themselves or avoid responsibility in taking any level of accountability? I'd love to hear your take on that. Don't forget to let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed yet. And don't forget to hit the little bell so you don't miss a video. Thanks ever so much for watching. Bye, guys.